Oakland, California is rocking today in more than one way. We'll explain how Kumar Rocker will make things rock and roll. And, of course, there might be twice as many people as the stadium will hold in the area of the Oakland Coliseum. We've got it all for you coming up next on the DLLS Rangers Pregame Podcast. It is the final act of this 57-year-long play at the Oakland Coliseum as we welcome you to the DLLS Rangers Pregame Podcast. The Rangers play the final game against the Oakland Athletics today. John Radigan here with Abby Jones and Jeff Wilson. We're in the DLLS studios. Our producer, The Prophet, likes to call us Rads, Abs, and J-Dub. So, and The Prophet's a new unauthorized nickname.
I like it,
though. But I like it a lot. And he does too. Look at the smile. Jeremiah's smiling over the Elijah.
A different prophet.
One of the prophets. We got one of the prophets. Jeremiah. I confused my prophets. Well, you know, we're excited to enjoy this game. I wonder if the people in Oakland are.
I think it's probably bittersweet. Maybe.
Heavy on the bitter.
Heavy on the bitter.
Bitter
yeah.
than sweet.
Heavy on the bitter. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to watch it unfold. I don't know that. Well, yeah, I'm trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt here. You know, trying to see the good in people, and hopefully they realize that to make a 10-cent beer night or disco demolition derby night or whatever it was of this game would probably play into the hands of the guy they hate most, the owner, John Fisher. So just chill out, celebrate the good times. Say what you want in protests. You keep saying sell the team. Don't think that's going to happen. But don't tarnish the ball game and tarnish the last memory people have of A's fans.
And I will say, Jeff is curious enough to be here because he could have been there, right?
Yeah.
You're curious, but not that curious.
Yeah, I didn't. The way I like to travel is if it's a day game, I want to get to the next city, and with the large crowd, them not giving out the giveaway until after the game, the traffic disaster that can unfold even after a regular season game at that ballpark, no chance of getting to SFO or San Jose for a flight. Even Oakland would be hard, and the dang Oakland airport's 5 minutes away without traffic.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to mess with it. So I'm here. I'm heading to Anaheim in the morning. But yeah, I don't like going to Oakland. So
right.
there's another
there are a lot of
reason.
factors.
Yeah.
A lot of factors. The game last night was likable, Abs, as the Rangers get 3 runs in the first inning. And how about Marcus Semien had told us that he wanted to do something special, and I hadn't looked at his hit total, but he got hit number 1,500 last night.
Yeah, he among active players, he's actually played the most games in the Coliseum.
Yep.
He also has the most hits, 403 now. I'm sure it's a very surreal moment to have that kind of accomplishment in front of friends and family. He shared with us, when they do move, he looked forward to going to Oakland, not because of Oakland itself, but that was just a pretty easy way to see majority of his loved ones during a very busy and hectic baseball season. So, I'm sure that he loved doing that in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he got things started, Jeff, in a big first inning, and it was one of those things where 3 runs in the first, and really that was all the Rangers would need. They kind of never looked back.
They didn't, but there were some tense moments in there. A couple bases loaded jams they had to get out of in the first 4 innings, and but yeah, it just didn't seem like Oakland was going to mount much of attack, and Of course, the Rangers put in their secret weapon, Matt Festa, who came through and pitched 2 1/3 scoreless innings, got his 6th win in 18 appearances with the club, which is just kind of mind-blowing. And then, they just kind of, Jose Leclerc looked good. Andrew Chafin looked fine. So a good win, as they continue to try to win ball games. Adolis Garcia had a good game. That could be a good thing for next season. Just nice to win one of these games in Oakland.
It was fun to see Wyatt Langford hit another home run in this game. And
Wyatt Bangford.
I swear he is making it almost a certainty that he'll win his 2nd Rookie of the Month award, and that's a 1/3 of the Rookie of the Month's award given in a baseball season.
He leads rookies with 6 home runs in the month of September. And, I think we've said this a few times, you wish that he would have had this campaign all along, but something did click. I do want to talk to him and try to figure out if he can pinpoint that moment. I don't know if it was the reps of it and finally finding a groove, or something mentally clicked, or maybe some mechanics or things like that. But yeah, his numbers that he's putting up, 306 when, he's hitting 306, 6 home runs, 20 runs scored in 22 games. I mean, he is the definition of efficiency right now.
Yeah. Have you looked at the Rookie of the Year rankings lately? I mean, last week he had the 2nd best WAR.
Yeah, I haven't, because I'm voting for Cy Young, so I haven't really looked at the rookie stuff. But when you kind of look around, you can look across the diamond at Mason Miller. I know he's having a nice year as a closer, and the A's have had rookie closer. Andrew Bailey won the award not that long ago. Well, within this century, I guess. But it's not like there's not like a standout guy like Gunnar Henderson was last year. Jackson Holiday hasn't had enough at bats. I guess Colton Cowser for the Orioles is a guy to think about. Just his home run total is he's north of 20, or at least at 20. So they're guys just sprinkled around, and that's the thing. Sometimes the Rookie of the Year isn't a guy who's has 550 at bats or 30 starts. Sometimes it's somebody who came up and just made an impact. So it seems pretty wide open, kind of like, the playoffs are going to be wide open, and the Cy Young and MVP awards in each league look like they're pretty solidified, and who's going to win them. I think the Rookie of the Year awards are pretty open in both leagues.
Yeah, so let's talk about a rookie who will still be a rookie next year for the Rangers, and that would be Kumar Rocker, making his final start, and certainly in many ways his biggest start at the big league level, with this crowd, these circumstances, and the fact that he now already has a couple under his belt. He wants to get better and better each time. This is a big one for him, Abs.
Yeah, you hope that the emotions don't get to him. I will say in his last outing, it was a 4-0 loss against the Blue Jays in Arlington. I think we had higher hopes at his home debut. It seemed like he had just struggled to gain control a little bit with his pitches there. He walked 4, struck out 5. So, probably going to stay around that 80 pitch count today as well if things stay under control. I really hope that he spent some time with Evo today, because who's no better in bigger moments is Nathan Eovaldi, and Nathan Eovaldi has been the champion of this club and really kind of mentoring even veteran players, it seems. His presence is so dominant. So looking for Kumar Rocker to have a pretty rockin' day, play on words, but let's see. He struck out 12 of 34 batters he's faced so far in the big league. So if you look at some numbers, there's things for the rookie to have confidence in, no doubt.
Yeah, and then the A's strike out a lot. They can be pesky too. They kind of. So if he's in the zone, he sacrificed the velocity last time in an attempt to command the strikes a little better, and it backfired on him. He needs to have his just go out there and let it eat like he normally does, and like he had done in the minor leagues, and it was good. Just keep doing that. gonna be fine. But yeah, I mean, it's like to John's point. This is so his first 3 starts are his major league debut, his home debut, and then the finale of a home finale of a pretty storied franchise with a huge crowd and circumstances. I'm sure players, John, you were saying, have been told not to interact with the crowd if they charge the field. Fend them off with your glove and your hip.
Yeah.
Don't.
There's so many people I would approach if I were a fan before. Kumar Rocker. I mean, that guy can sneeze your way and you're on the ground.
Yeah, but you never know. You never know. So anyway, it's another different start. He hasn't had just a start.
A normal
right.
start.
Yeah.
Just a garden variety start in Minnesota on a Tuesday night, right? He hasn't had one of those yet. So
Hey, you're in the big leagues,
Yeah, that's exactly right. And look, it's been his goal. It's been his dream. He admitted to some nerves on the home opener, and I'll bet you, knowing what we've seen from him already, he has worked to figure out a way to contain that, because he knows now, okay, I'm going to feel them in this situation as well. What do I do to sort of keep the nerves at bay? Do I use my hip or my glove? What do I do to keep the nerves at bay?
I think it will be interesting to see how he handles the noise. I don't think he's had too much of that to deal with. I mean, I know the College World Series gets loud, but I do think this will bring new challenges that he maybe hasn't dealt with before.
Yeah. It's going to be fun to watch him. I mean, let's not lose the sight of that fact that this is a guy whose stuff is electric and fun, especially when it is when he's commanding it well. I mean, some of the stuff we saw from him in the minors and even in that first start, when that slider's sliding how he wants it to slide, I think he calls it a curveball.
He does.
It looks like a slider to us, but whichever. It's got a lot of movement. It's got a lot of break. It's got a lot of vertical drop, and it is baffling, Jeff, to the hitters.
Well, he struck out 5 last time out.
Yeah, which isn't bad either.
And a lot of them were on the slider. So even when it's not good, it's really, really good. It's kind of like a Jacob deGrom thing. I mean, the 2 pitches are different in their characteristics, but the point being, it can be not the way he wants it, and it can still mesmerize hitters. So, I think if he as he wraps up what these first 3 starts look like, that's one of the big takeaways. It's like, you want to have my best stuff. My stuff plays here. And we talk about 3 innings, only lasted 3 innings, threw a bunch of pitches. He only gave up the 1 earned run. Really should have just just given up the 1 run overall, if not for that Zeke Duran error. So it's I'm kind of realistic about everything, or the voice of reality, or Debbie Downer, or whatever. You got to keep in mind that this is his 3rd start. Next year, even when he has a full spring training and all that, it's still going to be bumpy at times. But he's got such a good foundation with stuff and presence and the willingness to go out there and compete. He's ahead of the game, and so that's gonna serve him well even during the rough times.
Yeah.
And I think again, he has shown poise and maturity, frankly, way beyond his years, and certainly beyond his experience at the big league level. Part of that being that he comes from such an athletic family. His dad's been in professional football for all these years. So it'll be fun to watch Kumar Rocker out there tonight. Today. It'll be fun to watch Adolis Garcia. You mentioned him from last night, Jeff, but he has not gotten into one of those, maybe since the very beginning of the year, into one of those Adolis hot streaks where you feel like he's going to just mash every ball. But he is trending upward, I think, here at the end of the season.
Yeah, he is, and I think the numbers are good. I don't know, 4 or 5 game hitting streak, something to that effect. A couple of home runs in there. The important thing is the home runs have been to the pull side.
Yeah,
and so that means that he's more on time. He's not getting fooled. If they're pitching him inside, he's able to get around on it and kind of maybe trumping the scouting report. Finally, the bat path is shorter and quicker, and that's something that he definitely needed to work on. So if he's been working on that, which it appears he has, his stance looks different, then I would say kudos to him, and that's a good way to finish the season, seeing your labor pay off. And so, 4 more games to go. But if he can finish, feeling good about himself, that with Adolis, that goes a long way.
Do you think that he's played a little bit better because there's not as much pressure?
Or he just is finally like,
it is what it is.
Surrendered to what the season's become and is ready to work and realizes that the best Adolis is the Adolis who's out there having fun and not worried about public perception or anything like that. I mean, right now he's still beloved. Fans cheer him loudly. They wanted his bobblehead the other day, but still he recognizes that fans also wanted him to produce, and he didn't do it. So maybe there's just been a big acceptance of everything, and he had a come to Jesus moment or something and realize, yeah, all right, all I can do now is work to be better. And I saw somebody on Twitter say he was lazy. No, he's not lazy. A, if you look like that, you're not lazy.
Yeah,
and the
slightest. B, you can tell he's been putting in work. And again, I think he has a knee issue that's going to have to be addressed in the offseason. But it does feel like he's finishing well.
It is amazing to me how many times we've had players who will not divulge, even in a season like this. They have no intention of divulging that they are playing hurt, and they just fight through it, and come what may, results-wise. And I think in a clubhouse, that is an attitude and an approach, as long as it's not really hurting the team, that is applauded. Yeah,
sure. You're professional. You play if you think you can. You post up when you think you can. There hasn't been a moment this year when the trainers had to come out and look at him. Like Corey Seager didn't indicate anything was wrong hernia wise, but he got hit in the hand in Baltimore, missed a few games because it was pretty apparent what was going on there. He had the hamstring issue at one point where he actually left the game. But Adolis hasn't had that. And if you've watched at all and seen him trying to track down a fly ball or try to stop, that seems to be the biggest problem. It doesn't look great. And but to his credit, he has gone out there. He's continued to play. And I'm pretty sure that here next week that will be revealed that he's had a knee injury and it might need some attention.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do what Natalie's been doing, will you please? Chat along with us as we get you ready for the final game at the Oakland Coliseum. Like us, subscribe to us. We're winding down the season, which we hate, but fear not. We will be here throughout the offseason talking Rangers baseball with you. It's really we're the first of its kind. There's never been a daily Rangers podcast, and there will be throughout the offseason this year as we get to all the things in the Hot Stove League, and we get into all the things with free agency. The winter meetings are here this year, and next thing you know, it'll be time for spring training, and we'll be all over that too. So that's the sort of the model that we have put in place here. And around here, they call us the guinea pigs because everything we do, we're doing for the first time.
The trendsetters.
Game, post game, pre-game, all that stuff. We're the guinea pigs, and none of our groups, and they're all doing great. None of them yet have had a full off season. So they're going to put that weight, that challenge, they're going to throw it right around our necks. And you know what we're going to do? Swim. We're going to swim.
We're not sinking.
Nope, we don't sink. We're swimming, and we're looking forward to it. So anyway, long way of saying, chat along with us, won't you, as we talk about this final game. There are so many people expecting so many things, Abs. We've been reading about various thoughts, fears, concerns, and maybe even just excitement all morning.
Right. There's so many fans with signs, just kind of sharing, their stories with this specific ballpark or memories that they have. And, you feel for the city of Oakland and their fans. I mean, the park may be what it is, but at the end of the day, this is a large piece of, sports history. And the grounds crew last night, if fans had a water bottle, they were scooping up the dirt and putting it in fans' water bottles. And that's, safe. And we hope that things will kind of stay on that trend. We saw some fans ripping up a seat, taking it out of the park, which would be a little insane. But yeah, I mean, you feel for the fans here and you hope that everyone kind of goes about it in a right way. thinking that everyone is probably going to storm the field after the game.
Trying to get a chunk of grass.
I don't really
get the pitching rubber out. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to go. They're going to go for any souvenir they can find, aren't they? Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, do we think that the Rangers are going to pull this off? Because the Rangers, they're the most winningest team at the ballpark. They have 203 wins at the Coliseum, which is the most by a visiting team. So, if the Oakland A's win, I think that's going to be completely different, and fans might go crazy. But how do we think fans are going to handle it if they lose?
Here's the thing: if they lose, the A's lose, or are losing, I think it might be a Rangers win.
Well, yeah.
All we need to do is go back to a time when the Washington Senators moved from Washington to Texas. And the Washington Senators had a 7-5 lead in that game in the 9th inning over the New York Yankees, and fans stormed the field. And they started tearing up dirt, and they started getting the grass, and they ran and stormed the field. And they had to ultimately, the Senators, who had the lead, had to forfeit.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to be.
That's kind of hilarious.
I wouldn't want to be the left fielder or the center fielder.
No.
If it's a Rangers win and they close it out. I'm curious. Will they do the post-game handshake or just go straight to the dugout?
No, I think you got to go straight to the dugout.
And it's not in Oakland. You don't get to walk into the back of the dugout
through the
to
crowd,
get to the clubhouse.
basically.
You basically walk right along the crowd.
Yeah.
And even as people are exiting from the nice seats behind home plate, you have to walk next to them, or they at least stop them.
Same tunnel. Yep.
And it could be a logistic disaster. I mean, it really could be. And again, let's wait and see how it unfolds. But I'm getting less and less hopeful the more we talk about it.
The A's do have an interesting guy on the mound. He was selected from AAA August 20th. This is his 8th appearance, 6th start, 0 for 1 with a 4.6 ERA.
I mean, if the Rangers jumped on a AAA guy yesterday early on, maybe they can get some early run support. I don't know.
It'd be fun. It would. Last night's game was fun if you're a Rangers fan, and again, the people in the stands seem to have the right tone and the right tenor last night. Let's see what it'll be today. Look, all those fans, here's what they are. Eric Nadel tweeted this. He said, "Last game in Oakland, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, and I'm angry." And that's what the fans are there, right? And I think he might have put angry in all caps, right? So will that anger boil over? Oh, and by the way, who are they angry at?
I'll tell you who they're angry at. Let's take a look at this apology letter, if you will, from Mr. Fisher, owner of the Oakland Athletics. It's a whole bunch of words for
basically words that say we tried.
We tried. I was going to say it's a lot of words for not a lot of meaning. Yeah. Some former player had something to say about it. Let's take a look at what Trevor May put on Twitter, quoting John Fisher's apology letter to Oakland. "With all due respect, which is more than you likely deserve, save it. Be an adult, get in front of the camera, and say it with your chest."
Yeah, and so here's the rub on John Fisher. And by the way, that Fisher family, his mother and father, I think it's Doris and Don, started Gap, the Gap chain of clothing stores. So that's where they got their billions. He's worth about $2.4 billion, which you hate to say it, but in this day and age, that's not really rich enough to own a team. I mean,
it's tough.
That's right on the borderline of being wealthy enough to own a team, and that's where the penny pinching comes in. And he's a noted penny pincher, but to the point that Trevor was making, say it on camera and say it with your chest.
Say it
the
with your
media
chest.
in San Francisco is beside themselves that this guy won't honor their millions of requests for interviews, not just this year, but in the previous years when this was all coming to a head, and when he supposedly got and explored tried 5 different sites to keep the team in Oakland, and anytime he was asked to do an interview about that, he declined the opportunity to do so. He's hidden behind his billions, I suppose, and has never faced these people. He says in that letter, I wish I could talk to each and every one of you individually. You could have. You could have. Through the media, you could have talked to each and every one of them individually.
Yeah.
But he chose not to. And that's where, Trevor's making his point. Stand out there, be a man, own it, and say, you know what? We can't make enough money here. And the city of Oakland has a completely ridiculous system of government, or, whatever, leaders and leadership in government, whichever it is, right? And so consequently, we have to leave. Be a man, like Trevor's saying.
I do think it's so interesting because it's not written in the contract, but baseball players have to address the media.
Yeah, that's right.
Like Marcus Semien, we talked to him, and he's like, I will always present myself to you guys. Jacob deGrom's the same way. This is just as much as part of my job as what I do on the field.
That's about being accountable.
I do think there's like a double standard that's missing. I mean, how does the head honcho, how does he get the exit door?
Ray Davis doesn't speak to the media.
That's right. Not much, but I mean,
and it's
something like this you'd address though.
I don't know. I don't know if they would.
Not sure he'd address this, but he did address when JD was fired.
He did.
He was there for the one before that when Woody was fired. So
he was in the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what Fisher, the way Fisher's handled it is pretty feckless, but what could he say to make these people happy? Nothing would. And if he goes and says, oh yeah, Oakland is, we tried. They want us on the Howard Terminal project. They wanted us to build low-income housing. Why is that our responsibility? Why is that of all these environmental checklist they had to make sure that the construction didn't harm this, that, or the other. Would they be fined if something did happen? If there was a terrible accident or something? A lot of things that didn't need to be in that deal were in that deal, and it was a turnoff. If that was their last best offer, it wasn't the best offer, and I don't, okay. The libertarian point of view is he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Absolutely.
The Democratic point of view is hell no, the city's not going to build it. The Republican view is look at the impact that a baseball team has on the economy, and it's in the city's best interest to contribute to the well-being of the franchise. So where does it fall? And everybody wants to place blame. And we've seen a lot of the fans who were like, this is my favorite team growing up, and I moved to South Africa. I think you posted a picture of a lady who was flown in from South Africa.
That, yeah.
Or Tom Hanks wrote a letter about what a disaster this is, and it's not the taxpayers' fault. It's John Fisher and baseball. Well, Tom Hanks, if you're such a fan, get an ownership group together. Where were you? So it's like I see a lot of sentiment from the longtime fans.
Yeah.
But what about the current populace in the Oakland area? I mean, look at the attendance last 15 years. Forget the last 2 years after they decided they were going to move. Look at the years before that. How many sellouts did they have in those 13 years? Probably the Bay Series, maybe a Yankees game. But other than that, except for the 2012 when they were really good and came back and beat the Rangers, I've never been to a sellout there.
Right.
And I've covered more than 100 games there. So I've been to 3 sellouts in 100 games.
Jeez.
I don't think that adds up. John Fisher looks like a hole in all of this, but to just lay it at his feet, I don't think it's fair.
Okay.
All right, fellas. Good. Well, we're gonna end on a positive note. Maybe.
I thought A-hole was pretty positive. I liked
it.
It was good. It was heated. It was good. Who do you think will hit the final home run at the Coliseum? Because the A's have gone a season high 5 straight games without a homer. Oakland batters have gone 240 consecutive at-bats without a homer.
Oh, boy.
And the Rangers have hit 4 over the last 2 days.
Yeah, I was going to say there was no way I was naming an athletics player. Although if I were, I would probably say the kid who's Lawrence, and I'm drawing a blank on his last
Lawrence
name.
Butler
at the beginning. Thank you. The leadoff man, because I just like the kid. But no, I'm going to say the final home run hit there. It's from here. Marcus Semien.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you think?
I think it would be. I'll go with Shea Langoliers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keller kid.
Keller,
Baylor.
runs into one.
Yeah.
Seems to do it only against the Rangers. Yeah.
Just beats up on the
I
Rangers.
think I'm going to go Nathaniel Lowe.
Okay.
He has success.
All right, we got a Wyatt
Coliseum.
Langford on the screen there.
Wyatt
Like that.
Langford.
Wyatt's
I
a
do
good
like
bet.
that one as well.
The ball does carry more during day games.
It does.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, it should be fun. And we hope that you have had fun as we have getting you ready for this one. We are going to go upstairs, eat some popcorn, sit there and watch the game. And then we're going to come back afterwards and going to talk to you about it with our DLLS Rangers post-game podcast. So until then,
Play hard.
For J,
Have fun.
play hard and have fun. And for J
Stay
Dub
safe.
and
Try to
Abs,
make it out of the field alive.
and get out of there alive. J Dub, Abs, Rads, and the Prophet. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
We all silly like the mayor.